So I want to go ahead and introduce Todd Sherman, who's the Chief Marketing Officer with Point Inside, to talk about their solution.
I've just got to open with, it's great to be back at the Palace. Really. So I'm from Point Inside, and we are involved in engaging mobile shoppers when they're in store. These are the folks that come into the store with their own smartphones and do something, who the heck knows what in a lot of cases, but a lot of the time they're doing various aspects of shopping. And we're involved in enhancing their experience in store, including things like indoor location technologies, and I'll talk about how we use that. So this will bring together a number of things that we mentioned earlier, or were mentioned earlier, and then personalization as well, because once you engage them, you have an opportunity to start having that conversation with them. So first of all, and this was mentioned earlier as well, more than 90% of retail still happens in store. In the technology world, there's a lot of focus on e-commerce because that's the first use really of widespread technology between the customer and the retailer. But 90% of it, actually a little more than 90% of it, still happens in store, and that's where we're focused. So we take a look at in-store shopper behaviors, and this is from a Google study a few months ago. The numbers generally change over time, but they're all up and to the right. And looking at this, 79% of smartphone owners are smartphone shoppers. And this means that that group of smartphone owners are using their phone at least once a month in a store to help them with the shopping experience. 79% are smartphone shoppers, 84% of them use it once a month. Up to 50% bigger baskets, depending on the category the shopper is in, than folks who are not using smartphones. Almost half use it 15 minutes per store visit, which is a huge opportunity to connect with them. And then 1 in 3 would prefer to use mobile to engage, to find something, find information instead of asking an associate. This is a study from Deloitte that came out about 9 months ago, and it basically points out the opportunity that smartphones bring in terms of influencing purchases in store. And what this speaks to basically is that people are using their phones to understand what their decisions are going to be about what they're going to purchase from a physical store. And if you take a look at the numbers, and this is 2016 projection, which is right around the corner, this is 3 to 4 times larger than the entire e-commerce opportunity in 2016. And in speaking with the author of this report last week, they're actually increasing the numbers because of the increase in use of smartphones and the increase in the number of people who have smartphones. So their projections will actually increase from this moving forward. So what that really means is a huge opportunity. The other clarification point to be made is e-commerce is not in store. There are a lot of web apps, iPhone or Android apps that are really the e-commerce experience from the traditional PC or even the tablet brought down and sized onto the smaller screen of a smartphone. And what that really is about, if a shopper's in a store and they pull out their phone and they bring it to an app and they're greeted with an e-commerce opportunity, it actually takes them out of the store and puts them one step closer and probably one step away in most cases from the competitors that that store has. So the opportunity here is how do you engage the shoppers in store? And what's the difference between an e-commerce app and an in-store opportunity? First of all, it's to connect the shopper with the physical store. And I'll go into some examples of that. Location technologies is part of that, but there are a few other things as well. But how do you make them connect with the physical store they're in so they'll make a purchase while they're in the store? And in fact, increase the size of their purchase while they're in the store. So you make it easier for the shoppers to discover and find the products that they can purchase in that store. So that's the focus, or one of the many foci of an in-store app. And you really want to keep them from wanting to go online. You've already got them in the store as a retailer. You've worked hard to get them there. How do you take advantage of their presence in the store and move things forward? And then, of course, understanding in-store behavior. There was a mention earlier about being able to do that if you've got location technologies, and there are a couple other things I'll walk through here that give you great insight into what that customer is doing, as well as being able to influence that customer while they're in the store. So different retailers are in different categories. They're looking for different experiences depending on what their brand promise is or how they want to treat their customers or how their customers want to shop with them. which means that they need to come up with different engagement strategies, which means they'll be using a different combination of technologies and functionalities to help engage those shoppers while they're in store. So the Point Inside Store Mode platform incorporates these capabilities, and they build off a number of foundational technologies, in-store location, recommendation engines, in-store maps. So indoor maps are basically maps of the store down to the aisle level, and even more sharply down to various sections of the store. So it can be 2 or 4 foot sections of the store. So it has that kind of accuracy. Product location capability. That is where a shopper wants to find the exact location of a product, again, down to a 2 or 3 foot area. They can put a search term in, find the product, hit one of the on-screen buttons, and drop a pin on the exact location of where that product is. We can also, as you might imagine, take shopping lists now. So if somebody's going into a grocery store and they've got 20 items in their shopping list, you can feed that in and actually get the most efficient route through the store. And new studies are showing that by providing efficiency in the routing through the store, the customer will have more time to actually pick up additional items. Indoor location, this has been discussed earlier. We're actually agnostic on the technology. We have some of our own technology, but within our platform we incorporate whatever our customers are looking to use. So we feel a lot of excitement about the various things that are happening in indoor location, shopper location, and it is going to be a very interesting and fun ride moving forward. But being able to take advantage of all those technologies to understand where the shopper is a key part of this. The second part, beyond the indoor location technologies, is how do you engage the shopper? If you can get a shopper to provide you a shopping list of what they're interested in, that is gold to a retailer. It gives them the immediate purchase intent. It tells them what that customer is after. It gives them the opportunity to make suggestions and engage them on a very personalized level. In-store search. This is about the fact that if you're a chain and you've got 1,750 different stores, each of those stores has a different set of products in there, a different selection set. They also have different inventory levels, and in some cases they have different prices. So search online is one monolithic answer. In-store search needs to break down so that you've got particular stores with particular sets of data that you can bring forward for that customer when they're in that particular store. And engagement engine. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in a few minutes. But this gives the ability to have a two-way personalized conversation with that shopper while they're in the store. Geofencing, this is more of the traditional geofence that you know that, let's say, they're within 100 yards of a store. You can then take what would be, in some cases, an e-commerce app. They're not in the store, give them an e-commerce app. But as they get closer to a store, flip it over in store mode to where they're actually now engaged with the store in the physical sense. And then, of course, analytics and the various things that you can understand about that shopper while they're in store. So we ascribe to a pretty straightforward way of approaching this. One is give them compelling features that will have them engage, and I'll talk about some numbers a little bit later about how those features are actually increasing engagement with shoppers in store. And by doing that, you can, if you get them to put a shopping list in, if you get them to do product searches, you know what they're searching for. You can also incorporate this with a loyalty program, so you can take advantage of all the history as a retailer that you've got with that particular customer so that you really understand them. And then use that data to start delivering valuable and personalized experience. And that just feeds on itself in terms of creating a better shopping experience and creating a better understanding by the retailer of what that shopper is doing. So the kinds of things you can deliver once you know all of this, including where that shopper is located in the store, is product suggestions, product recommendations. One of the interesting things here is advertisements. This actually, for a large chain, turns their shoppers into a great, highly targeted, highly focused audience. And in many retail business models, there are CPGs, there are brands who are very interested in connecting with the right shopper. This provides a way for the retailer to actually sell advertising opportunities to those brands and then have those things delivered at the right moment, at the right time. Then we're also able to track when people click on these. So you start to understand more than what happens, let's say, in the Sunday flyer that people look at, or they see an end cap, or they see a sign. Helps them understand exactly when and where which particular customers respond to which kinds of offers that you might put in front of them. So analytics. It was mentioned earlier that not much is known about what shoppers do in stores until they actually check out, and then you've got the point of sale data. This provides even the start from when they're at home and they do a shopping list, all the influences, many of the influences that you see along the way, what happens in the store, where they spend time, the offers that are put in front of them, what they respond to, and then you can close that loop with point of sale data so you can really start to understand what's happening in the store. And I'm a chief marketing officer, and the usual joke in marketing is we don't know where 50% of our budget goes. If you talk to store managers, they'll tell you it's closer to 95% or even 100% that they just don't understand what they're doing in the store and how it's affecting their customers' behavior. And return on investments are different for different retailers that are out there. In some cases, it's finding products. If somebody's got 20 items on their list and they only find 18, if you help them find those additional 2, that's a 10% increase in basket. That's huge. Discovering new products you can recommend to them because they're doing something, this example is earlier, in the spaghetti aisle you can offer them sauce, or they've got peanut butter, you offer them bread and jelly to go along with it. So you can start to build that shopping list from 20 up to 22, 23 items. The targeting advertising I mentioned earlier, this can become an incredible independent revenue stream for retailers. So it opens up a whole new way for brands to start reaching out to customers and understanding when they're connecting and when purchases are actually happening. Social promotions, word of mouth, you can do all sorts of things in that area, but you get a lot of shopper data, better understanding, and at the end of the day, increased shopper satisfaction and loyalty, and we've seen that with a number of our customers who have rolled out with our technologies. So just a quick few slides here on the results that we have seen from employing these various technologies. The first one is we have had the opportunity to do some very interesting A/B tests where it'd be the same application. One has indoor location technologies such as product finding capabilities, product locator, indoor maps. The other identical application. And what we've seen is shoppers are 5 times more engaged with the app that has the indoor location technologies. And that's because they get a lot of benefit from it, finding out where the product is, finding a route through the store, other things that come their way. So it's been a huge boon to the customers who've incorporated this into their applications. What we've also seen is a 4x coupon usage, which is basically an advertising methodology that brands can use to get customers to buy products. This compares to if you use just a basis of 1 for non-mobile users who use coupons, compared to 4 times mobile users who just use a mobile with e-coupons on it. If they've got indoor location technologies, it's even 4 times more engaging than that. And this is something that's very easy to track to the point of sale so you can tell exactly what's happening, what the results are. We're involved with 5 different companies at this point that are well along the path with us. One of them is Live, Meijer stores in the Midwest, 200 stores, about the size of 2 football fields. Product finding is a huge opportunity for them to engage their customers. You can also see this experience if you take a look at the Lowe's app now that is out on iPhone and finding products and how that relates to you. So it's a great place for folks to go and get a sense of this. And across our customer base, the studies have shown up that 83% find it easier than previous methods for locating products. And that means whether it was signage before, actually going and finding a guy. I mean, when you walk into a hardware store, that's kind of the first thing you do. They prefer using the app rather than asking an employee, and this is huge. This means that there are a lot of customers out there that retailers don't even get to connect with, they don't even get to have a conversation with, that customer is trying to find something on their own, and very often they leave without finding that item. And then, this is a huge one, 66%, 2/3 of the customers out there would prefer to shop at the store with this indoor location capability versus a similar store without the location capability. So what our customers are seeing out of this is the ability to use indoor location, use engagement inside of apps, the branded apps by the stores, and be able to help drive understanding of the customer as well as additional revenue. So this is the end of my part of the presentation. I'm not sure if we have time for questions now, but we can have questions later, and I'll also be here through the rest of the day. Thank you.